Hey guys, it's J.Belle with the J.Belle Show. I'm going to start this off with, this is a redo interview because my guy Reg Rob did so good the other day, but on my part, my hard drive like shut down on me. So I was fighting.
It's all good.
Right. Yeah. I was fighting to get this interview back. So thank you again so much for being here. I appreciate your time. And we were talking a little bit off camera.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit off camera. You said your press interviews have been going really well. And, you know, you've been going back and forth. You had like 5 or 6 the other day. And
yeah,
you got a very busy day today, right?
Yes, it's been booming, man. Everything has just been lining up perfectly, but, nonstop with the press. And, I love it. I got some things I like to discuss and say and talk about these great projects I've been working on. So it's been fun.
Yes. So we're going to get into that, but I just want to make one observation before we go. Guys, we're color coordinated here. Great minds think alike.
See it. We fresh to death. You see it, she got the frames popping too, man. So I gotta step my game up, man.
Yeah, get you some frames.
Yeah, that's fresh. I like that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. So the first question right off, because you used to work in education as a high school coach and teacher. How did that transition go from education to actor?
I would say that it was definitely one that it wasn't I wouldn't say it wasn't seamless, but it was more so just navigating life at that point. I just remember that I was really passionate about prior to teaching and education, getting into teaching and education, as well as having this passion for acting. So I just remember at school every day, at this school where it's considered at-risk youth. And, I'm in love with it. I'm mentoring, I'm changing, young men's lives that are on their second and third strike, at 18, these guys are, going through different phases of their lives, but these are good kids, so it's like, man, it really was rewarding. I didn't dread going to work now one day. I'm up bright and early. I worked long days. It was a charter school. So anybody know anything about charter schools, They know like the type of work you have to put in. But for me, it was doing the work. And then one day, I was talking about something like, man, yeah, I remember I used to do this and this. And my boy who's in the industry too, he was like, you're an actor though, right? I was like, man, okay, I gotta continue to keep it going. I gotta keep my foot on the gas with my real, passion and dream. And that's when it just kind of just clicked for me too. It was just like, okay, keep it going. Don't stop, because I believe that this transition has inspired so many so far from those 200 to 300 kids I used to see every day. They see me doing this still today. Man, I saw Coach Rob. They call me Coach Rob. I saw Coach Rob on TV, man. He said he was going to do that. He did it. So it's like, man, look, if he could take somebody like me from Louisiana, and put me on these bright Hollywood sets and, be doing some of the, top television shows and films, man, he could do it for you too.
Right. And I remember, and that's a great story to have, because I also remember reading in your bio, you also went to Grambling State University for your master's afterwards, which is where you kind of like, you started doing plays and then you kind of got into that also. And so I'm going to ask you this. What is the one thing you took from your master's program that has helped you throughout your acting career?
Oh, man, you can accomplish anything. Again, it's one of those stories where I wasn't one of those classic students that was just a scholar. It was one of those situations where, prior to grad school, I had dropped out. And, when I said, if I do go back and go into an HBCU, I chose Grambling State University. I remember going in and just falling in love with the whole entire situation. Being on an HBCU campus is just like none other, especially Grambling State University. And, transitioning into grad school was one of those situations where I had went out to Hollywood the first time 10 years ago. And it, I didn't know a lot. It was my feet was getting wet. I was really green. So I said, hey, you know what? I'll go back to grad school while I'm figuring this thing out. And man, I was one of those students that was just hustling still in grad school. And man, like I go from dropping out of college to having a master's degree, within a matter of years. So for me, I took from that whole experience like, man, look, if you want it bad enough, you can do anything. You just have to, apply yourself, focus. This whole thing is about focus. So I think it just really like inspired me and myself. Like, hey, okay, dude, you really can do anything. You got an entire master's degree.
Wow. Yeah. I think we talked about this before in our prior interview, like how similar our stories are because of the fact that I went through the same thing when I was in undergrad. I didn't do well.
UNLV.
Right. Well, I went to A&T. So I went to a HBCU first.
Okay.
And so, you're first out of college, you don't have a real schedule. Nobody's making you go to class. And so like my second semester of my freshman year into my sophomore year, I basically I lost a scholarship my freshman year. So I was like, oh, I got to get on it. And then by the end of my sophomore year, I was on academic probation, as I mentioned to you before. And so I had to pull it together because my daddy was looking at me like, girl, if you need to stop playing. So
I can't even judge you because you went to the HBCU first, know. And let me tell you.
And A&T is known as a party school. Well, it was known as a party school then. It's not so much now, which is, thank God, because people were like really giving it a bad name. So I'm proud that I went to a HBCU. But because of that, like I went back to school because it was the same thought process. I was like, I need to figure this out because I was like 22, living in Charlotte, working temp jobs. And I was like, this is not working. And at first I was going into film. I wanted to become a director producer. And so I went to UNLV for film studies and I got into it. They make you do some acting classes. I was like, no, I'm not an actor. I was like, no, I'm not a screenwriter, but I do like directing and producing. So I kind of took it a little bit with that, but I transitioned with it into television and radio.
Wow.
And so, yeah. And so that's what I originally moved out to Vegas for, was to start my broadcasting career. And by the time I finished UNLV, I had a 3.55 because I was so focused like you were. And I got my second bachelor's. And it was crazy within that. A lot of my family was like, won't you just get a full-time job and just do that? Why are you still back in school? Focus. So that's why I was like, our stories are kind of similar because you want something so bad, you're going to go for it. And it's 10 plus years for me too. This is my first full-time gig. And it's crazy. Like when you get into it, I've been in radio for 10 plus years in different positions, always a letdown. Then I got this. And so now it's just been rolling slowly, but rolling. And you know how that goes.
And people think that it happened for you probably overnight. And it's been a 10-year process. You're seeing the highs. They haven't seen all the lows, And what's ironic about that situation was when I went to grad school, I was actually trying to get into mass communications to do radio and television in the sense of what you do. And that's funny how stories still line so much, but it just wouldn't work out. Like the mass communications department was more so like, hey, you're going to do more writing instead of actually like, with TV and radio, because what you do is really dope. And just for the viewers out there, let us know, to let y'all know, HBCU is gonna party, but we're gonna get this work in too,
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
we have to work 3 times as hard from HBCUs than if you were at a UI because of the fact that the frown upon look, especially when a lot of programs are not accredited the same way PWIs are. So I mean, that's something else.
Absolutely, that's exactly what I'm saying.
It's something else to think about. So okay, so let's talk about your movie that's coming out actually tomorrow, National Champions. All right. Do you feel like your previous experience as a coach, because I noticed that in the trailer you play like a coach within the team. Yeah. Do you think that helped you prepared for this role a little bit?
Absolutely, 100%. I was blessed to be able to pour into some young men's lives before as a coach, and I played, a coach once before or twice now, but that experience from actually being a coach definitely was, a place where I could pull from. As an actor, you want to be able to develop the characters as authentic as possible. Mm-hmm. And especially with our director, he really wanted us to be authentic in our approach. And I think that really helped me, because you can really look these players in the eyes and really try to connect with them. But, it's one of those full circle moments, because my first acting gig actually in a film was a coach, and it was 10 years ago. So it's just pulling from all of these experiences, the more I grow as an actor, it's just the more authentic I want to be in my approach. So absolutely.
So let's break it down, though. For those that don't know what National Champions is about, Stephan James is starring in it, and he's basically calling out, I want to say the NCAA on making sure that athletes get compensated, because, the board of trustees, the schools, they all make money off these athletes while these athletes are struggling. And they're doing this on the day of a national championship game. Am I not mistaken?
Absolutely. It definitely follows the star player. Imagine the Heisman Trophy winner is about to play in the national championship game, and hours before the game, he's trying to, basically convince his teammates that, hey, you should stand with me in this approach. I'm going to do it regardless, but hey, look at the conditions we're coming from. Look at how much money that the people who are in front of us are making. This is $1 billion industry. Let's not get it twisted. This is not like some chump change. So if this is $1 billion industry and we're building these, $1 million stadiums and fans are coming in, average games at a Power 5 conference, these big schools, on average, it's around 60,000 plus people, in the stands. Even this year with, COVID and everything opening back up, big turnouts, some games with 80,000 plus fans. So you wonder where all of this, these funds are going to, and the athletes were not being compensated. Yeah, you could say, hey, well, they are on scholarship. But, if you really take a deep dive into that and being a student athlete, I've been a student athlete before. Yeah, your books, most of your books are taken care of. Yeah, your dorm room is taken care of. But there's so many other things that you might need, or that comes up. You're away from home. Imagine somebody 18, 19 years old away from home. They're coming from poverty. And they're like, hey, trying to adjust and, hey, trying to get their clothes washed, just the simple things. And they're barely, coming up with the funds to do so. So this NIL, basically being able to be paid for your image and likeness is right on time. That's why this film is a historical film, because I think the story that we're telling is like, it's going to not only give you the backstory to the players, but it's going to kind of give you an insight of what, the NCAA and these coaches, their side of it too, but really this is something that I think every student athlete, and not only that, their families should support as well, kind of, not just have you out here thinking that, hey, okay, everybody's trying to make money. No, it's not that type of situation. It just shouldn't be, football players. This should be softball team. This should be baseball. This should be track, whatever, it is. And I think it's right on time.
I believe that too. And this was something that was just passed, I think, last year with LeBron James' agent, Rich Paul. And once he got involved in it, it was a whole scandal, but it ended up working out because, of course, like you said, this is something that needs to happen because basic needs are not being met for these athletes. Like, they're struggling every day. And you never know that until you actually talk to some of them or you see the stories that are going down because of the fact that so many of the board of trustees or athletic directors, the whole school tries to cover it up and make it seem like they have like these great, gorgeous lives. And sometimes that's not the case. Like you said, they come from poverty. They've never lived outside of their neighborhood before. And this is all new to them. And so I'm excited to see this movie because it's something that really does need to be talked about. It needs to be more conversations about it, not a, sit up. What did it? Lauren Ingram, she was like, shut up and bounce the ball, whatever.
Oh yeah, shut up and play basketball or shut up and shoot or something like that. Yeah. And LeBron, really took some offense into that, and rightfully so. And they just don't know the intels and the insights of that story. I've seen guys at HBCUs, they have way less, and they're doing what they can. Thank God that we're now shining a light on more HBCUs, but think about it. some of these guys are getting out of practice and like going straight to work. That's crazy.
Right.
You should be able to have the opportunity to just, focus on being a student athlete without having to go clock in, then come home and, try to be a student. And, if you're an athlete, trust me, you're up like prior to 5 a.m. and it is crazy grueling on you. So, yeah.
That's brutal. That's a brutal schedule. Now, I can
Yeah.
only imagine. I mean, if you think about it, like with radio, which is no comparison, like morning shows have to get up at like 4 in the morning. And imagine
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then some of them have to work second jobs just to survive. So I totally understand it.
That's why I say hats off and salute, because the radio does such an amazing job and it comes off so soothing to people, and people enjoy the radio and these podcasts, but you have no idea of the consistent grind you guys put in. So major salute.
You know what? I'm going to use this specific part as a teaser so people understand, because we get so much slack in radio. I want you guys to understand what Reg Rob said, okay?
Let me tell you, they are in here like putting in a grind. You consistently getting up, before morning. You were driving to work in the dark, and it's morning though, so putting in those long hours. And not only that, once you do these interviews and different things of that nature and drops, and you got to go and produce this thing, and oh man, it's a whole thing to it. Editing, it's a lot. It's a
lot of work.
One man show, really, yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because I think we talked about this before. You worked with Morgan Freeman in Vanquish. And I want to know, what was the vibe? Like, what was his aura like when you worked with him?
Man, first and foremost, just giving my, flowers to Morgan Freeman while he's here. He's just one of those giants in the industry, not going to be the loudest in the room. It's just like, hey, my presence is here. And anytime that you're around, I'm gonna say it, we use this term loosely now, a legend like himself. It's like you don't try to, do the most. You just sit back and take notes. So, with COVID and everything's kind of, spaced out. But really, it's just a blessing of somewhat to be in his presence and just, okay, I'm taking notes. I'm just looking at it, mental notes. Okay. Okay, I could put that in my bag. Yeah, that type of situation. So just consistently good, just an awesome actor. Yeah, talented.
Now, we always hear voiceovers from him and things like that, and he always sounds like the voice of God in these. Does he sound like that in person?
Oh, I imagine so, because it's just like, these people you look up to your entire life.
Right.
You've been watching them your entire life. So when you find the dude talking, I'm like, he might just say hello, and you like, man, you thinking like, yeah, like you lit, like, so this is what it's like, and it's just one of those situations, man, where it's it kind of got that feeling like, man, because this dude is larger than life for me, because I'm an actor. It's just like, I just grew up in an era where in the 90s where I love watching films and television. So seeing him as just somebody that I really, admire, is like, regardless, he's gonna sound like the most, yeah.
That is so funny to me. But I also want to ask you, because I didn't ask you this before, but how was it working with Ruby Rose, the former Batwoman, after she left after the first season, obviously, because there were some toxic things going on set. But how was it working with her also? Because I've heard really good things about her.
Yeah. Ruby Rose was cool. She we came in and we did a dope scene together where it was really intense. And man, she's killing it. She's really killing it, because we came in that night, and during this pandemic, one of the first projects I shot during the pandemic. And man, we get on set, Everything is a little different, but man, we locked in because, what I'm saying is when you're in this time frame, you're really limited of time. So it's not a lot of rehearsals. So, man, she was ready to go and we just knocked it out, man. So, yeah, shout out to Ruby Rose.
That's dope. That's dope. I definitely want to see her in more projects too, because I first recognized her from Orange is the New Black. And yeah. I feel like they killed off her character too soon, but it is what it is. It's cool.
No, she's cool. She's great. Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about another project. You are in BET's Sacrifice, which was a film, and now it's made into a series, and you get to work with she's on her way to being an icon and a legend, Paula Patton. Because like you said, we use the word legend too loosely sometimes, but Paula Patton, I think, is definitely on her way up there. What is your character and what is the things that we're going to see in the series that's already streaming that we didn't get to see in the movie?
Yeah. And shout out to Paula, man. Yeah, she's definitely killing. Her resume is just, crazy. And, that was really like, that just kind of sets the tone. When you see someone like that with such a good work ethic and, professionalism, you come in, ready to go. You want to be on point. You want to be the reason that that scene works. Right. So, it was really a joy. Taking those from her too. She works, she works really hard. She's also the executive producer on it. So she makes sure that it's put out correctly. Yeah. And she makes sure that we're going to come out with a great product. But yeah, working on this has been tremendous. Just a ton of fun. We go in, great cast and crew. Everybody comes together to make sure that, again, we get a good product out. But I played the role of Mac, and Mac is this certified killer. He's a goon. He's the right-hand man to Dom, who's played by a great actor, Juan Antonio. And, man, when I tell you, boy, Mac, yeah. Yeah, Mac will set it off. He don't mind. He's one of those ride or dies, that, he down for the cause. So it was really a really intense role, one of those roles that you gotta kind of like detach at the end of the day. Like, all right, cool,
Method.
So
okay.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun. It was a ton of fun.
Nice. I love it. And you said it's streaming right now on BET Plus. So I definitely got to resubscribe because I did have it, but I let it go. And now I want to see what your role is. I want to see how you interact with Paula Patton. And so I'm interested to see how this goes down. When have you guys been renewed for a second season yet? Or are you still waiting to hear?
Yeah, we're still waiting to hear. I haven't heard anything on my end, but man, it's streaming right now, and it's been getting a ton of great reviews, and I'm happy with the product, and it's really unique to see how it came together, and I'm just grateful for the experience. It was a ton of fun.
Nice. Okay, my last question, then we're gonna play our game, First Thoughts. And I know the ladies are gonna be curious about this when they see this interview, so don't shoot me. Okay, all right.
Oh no.
The ladies are going to want to know, are you single or no?
Man, single. Yeah, definitely single. I hear
in the screens.
Man, look, you got to be careful. They be thinking you're in some of these entanglements. Nah, man, I'm single. I'm at peace. I'm enjoying where I'm at, and just, man, you know what? In this point of my life, just grateful, man, because a lot of people can't do this whole single thing. They just be like, wasting people's time. So me, I'm just like, I'm good right now. I'm at peace.
See, that's a grown man's answer. I like that. Like, I'm not here to waste nobody's time. No.
Yeah. Like I'm big on that. Like, for me, I'm gonna be upfront. I'm gonna be very forthcoming. I pride myself in that. At the same time, because I don't want to block your blessing. It might be somebody else out here for you, so that's maturity though. Cause I ain't gonna say, I ain't always been a mind frame, but it's just like, let me not block your blessing. Let me get out the way,
I'm gonna use this as another clip too. So the ladies, when they see it, they're gonna be like, Yes, thank you. We're gonna be hitting up your DMs.
You funny, man.
All right, we're gonna play a game of first thoughts. And so you have to answer the first thing that comes to mind. Okay. All right. So number one, let's get it. All right. Number one, first date.
First impressions.
Okay. Ideal woman.
Spiritual. Beautiful. Kind. Yeah.
Okay. All right. If you can only take 3 things with you on a boat, what would they be?
All right. Here we go. Come on, Reg Rob. Think. All right. 3 things that I could take on a boat. And what would they be? Those 3 things would be, y'all gonna roast me for this. I'm gonna have a cell phone.
Okay.
With the charger though, right?
With the charge. Okay, we'll use that as one.
That's one. Not saying I'm gonna be active on their cell phone, but which leads me to my next point. I'll have like this, I have this notepad that I write in every night. And I just write my thoughts. And I feel like that's very powerful because your thoughts become things. So if you spelling it out, it's just like a spell you putting out there. So for me, I think that if I have that pen and pad, whatever situation I come into out there, I'm gonna be straight because I'm gonna put them thoughts out there into the world, to the universe, and it's gonna pop off on me regardless. It's gonna just work out. Okay. And I'm gonna say like some water, like a gallon though, like a gallon and a half. Yeah. Okay. One of them joints.
That makes sense because if you're out in the hot sun, you make sure you're hydrated. All right. Okay. So
yeah, I know it's boring.
Boo! We thought it was gonna be more scandalous. I'm just joking. I'm joking. None of it. Director, you would love to work with.
Director I would love to work with. That's a great question too. I'm gonna say Denzel, in a close second is Spike Lee. Definitely. Yeah, absolutely.
Especially because they've worked on a couple of movies together, classic movies on top of that.
Classics, ones I grew up watching. So, now I see that Denzel is getting into more directing. It's like, man, he's the ultimate professional. And then Spike Lee just does nothing wrong to me. So definitely one. Yeah.
All right. Ultimate guilty pleasure.
Man, look, in this world we live in where we gotta constantly watch this and watch that. Man, my issue is this some of these. It's just so much good food, man. I'm from the South, man. Oh my goodness. So ultimate guilty pleasure, man, probably be some type of sweets. I love candy, so man, taking it a little too far with the candy sometimes. So I think that would be the ultimate guilty pleasure.
Okay. All right. And then last,
I know.
There's nothing wrong with it. I like candy too. I love chocolate. Hershey's chocolate with almonds. And
classic.
Yes, and Twix.
Oh, yeah. See, I had a kind of like hit rehab to get away from something. Had to get away from that, man. See, because I'm more so like these like Starburst, Skittles, and like all these different types of Twizzlers. And before you know it, you like, yo, I'm wilding, man. I need help.
You're gonna need help after you go to the dentist and you're like, oh, I got cavities here. Ugh. That's the biggest thing. And we can't afford to have cavities.
You can't have no cavities? No, not no active.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta have your teeth looking nice and pretty. All right. So last one. Night in or night out?
Easy. Night in. I was in the pandemic before the pandemic hit. I wasn't. I was really like just to myself. I'm a loner, but at the same time, I can be the life of the party and just be like, you know, having people laughing, you know, that's my thing. I like to make people laugh and smile and just feel comfortable. So, man, I could be a night in, have some people over, or I can be to myself and just be like, yo, ignoring all these phone calls.
Nice.
You know?
I've gotten the same way, actually. My phone goes on D&D at 7:00.
Come on.
I have to check my phone. I'll be like, oh, somebody called me. Unless it's my parents. I'm like, I don't understand. Nobody calls me during the day. We all working. What do you want? So I
noticed D&D is one of those options that a lot of the young ladies are using these days.
Guys, people will, what are you doing to death? What are you doing?
WYD. And it's like, bro, what? Man.
Or
yeah.
this is what guys do now. And he's probably gonna see this. I don't care. He was annoying. He'll act like he's guys will do like try to talk junk about your ambition to show themselves flirting. And I'm like, even as a friend, like, why are you saying something about where I'm from? That makes no sense at all. Because I like a bigger city than.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I get that too. You got to be careful with that because it's just like you're looking at them like, yo, okay, yeah, that's kind of weird. You know, the energy is just like, okay, I guess that's your way of getting my attention. And next thing you know, you got to be careful to do with that because you're rolling around with that energy and now it's rubbing on you. And it's like, oh, hold up. Okay. If it costs you a piece, it's too expensive. And I'm learning that right now. It's like, oh, no response.
Exactly. I'm like, you know what? No more responses. I'm good on you. That's a red flag to me. No. Mm-mm.
Oh, for sure. Red flag. Yeah.
Red flag. Exactly. No.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay.
Absolutely.
So thank you for playing the game. All right, Reg. So we got National Champions dropping tomorrow. Okay. Make sure you go to the theaters and go see that with your family.
In theaters everywhere. Pack it out.
Exactly.
Be safe though. Wear your mask.
Oh yeah, wear your mask. Definitely wear your mask. BET Plus's Sacrifice is streaming right now.
Yeah, we're streaming right now on BET Plus.
All right, and then you have other projects coming down the pipeline, right? You want to talk about those a little bit?
Yeah, I got something dropping later on this month on Netflix, Cobra Kai, and got that. And also, I have a quick cameo on this film on Netflix right now called Night Teeth. And of course, I have Vanquish out there with Morgan Freeman that dropped earlier this year. So yeah, I got some things out there. You know, also you can always go back and check out my IMDb. I got some good TV series out there. So yeah, I got some work out there.
My man has a resume. Go check him out. Also, you can you can follow him on social media. Share that.
I am Reg Rob on Twitter and Instagram at I am REGROB. I am Reg Rob, and also I have a Facebook and YouTube Reg Rob REGROB.
All right, guys, make sure you're following him. Thank you so much for being on my show. I appreciate you. We're gonna have you back when you have your always
fun. Anytime, just let me know. I got you.
Next time we're gonna text each other so we can actually coordinate again and make sure we wear the same thing.
That's cool. We're gonna do it. We might come in all black with gold chains, you know, something light, you know.
We're gonna have to give me a gold chain because I ain't got no jewelry. You know what I'm saying?
I got you. I'll get you some drip, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna drip it out, you know.
You guys heard that right? Now if I don't have no drip, we're gonna have problems, Reg.
Well, issue? Okay.
We're gonna have issues.
Look, man.
It's gonna be a red flag. I'm gonna have to no response to you, okay?
I done already made the D&D no response list, man.
If I don't get my drip, then you're gonna be on the no response list.
I got you, man. I got you.
Just listen. I'll see you later, guys.